For today's lessons, we're going to learn how to lay out the fin placement for our rocket. And you can see I've marked my fin lines on here, a very long line here. And to do this, to make it easy, we have a template. So if you take a look here on our instructions on how to do this, it says to cut from above. So if you take a look at your instruction sheet up top here, you have a template. And this template right here is what we're going to use to lay out our fin placement, and then also a very long line for our lunch log, which will be used later on. So if you take a look, I've already cut out my template here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this now to my rocket tube here. So to do that, I'm going to start on this area here. I have the markings right here facing this direction, and I'm going to first put on here a piece of masking tape right here so it stays in line. If I don't put that piece of tape on here, this can move on us and cause misplacements here. So this keeps this nice and grounded here. I'll take this and wrap this around now, and I'll line this up so it's nice and lined up just like so. And I'm going to add another piece of masking tape, just like that. So as we take a look around the rocket tube here, you'll notice that we have a lot of marks on here we have to make. We have to make 4 marks in altogether, and they're labeled FL and LL. Okay, so we have 3 of them that are going to be FLs, and those are going to stand for fin lines. And then we have this one, which is LL, which I'm going to refer to right now as a long line. All right, that's going to be a line that's going to go all the way up our rocket tube here. And then we're back to another one here, FL, another fin line, and over here as well. So what I'm going to do, all I do is just take and make a tiny little mark right here. Go ahead and I label them FL. I come over here, I make another mark right here, and I call this one FL. I come over here, this is where this one says LL. We're going to use this as our long line. Okay, and then this one right here, another one, make another mark right here, and we're going to call this one FL for another fin line. All right, so there we have our markings for our tube here. So we're done with our template now. The template can be removed. It is can be thrown out. But now we have to take these lines and draw them straight down. Well, that's kind of a challenge. So to make this a little bit easier, if you take a look at our instructions here, we're going to use a door frame. Okay, and the door frame we're going to use to actually take and then draw those lines straight down. Okay. And when we do the fin lines, we're just going to use from the marking and draw them down, and that long line we're going to draw it nice and all the way down the rocket tube, as you can see right here. All right. So what I have right here is, again, I have that long fin line, okay, and then this my long line goes all the way to the length of that tube. So let me demonstrate how that is done. So here I'm using the door frame. I'm going to take my rocket tube here, and notice I have one of my lines right here. I'm going to line that up with the edge of the door frame here, and I'm just going to now simply just draw that line all the way up and go around my tube here. This one says FL as well for a fin line. And over here I have another fin line right here. And now my last one on here is that LL line, and that's the one we're going to draw all the way down. So we take that all the way down. So again, I have all of my lines. So those fin lines, those FLs, are those smaller ones. And then that the LL is that long line. We go all the way down our tube. So in this step, we are going to attach our fins to our rocket tube. And when we attach their fins to the rocket tube, they're going to be going on these smaller lines right here, all of the FLs for fin lines. This long line, do not touch that, okay? Fin lines is the only place we're going to be putting these. Now, when we put these these fins on as well, to do this, notice on your fins they have a little dot. That's the dot that we're going to use to line up with our rocket tube right there. All right, we don't want to put these dots down here. Notice that would be incorrect. If you look at our sheet here, they are flat over there. And to make them flat, we use that dot right there to line up. So it looks like our sheet. Okay. So to do this, our instructions say to apply a thin layer of glue, let dry for 1 minute, and then apply a second layer. So what I like to do is I'd like to take my glue here and I put a thin layer. This is FL, so I can use this one right here. Apply a thin layer here, and I'm gonna let that dry for 1 minute. And the reason behind that letting this dry for 1 minute, it becomes a little tacky. And the tackier it is, the better it's going to then hold. So we're gonna let this dry for 1 minute. So we've come to our 1 minute. Now what we want to do is go ahead and apply a second layer. And I like to take the second layer of glue and apply that to the fin itself. And again, the fin with the dot. So we take our fin, add another bead of glue here. And now what we do is we come over here where this has been setting up for that 1 minute. It becomes tacky. Now we take our fin and press and hold down on it. Now, in pressing and holding down on this, I can take this extra glue here, clean up the sides there, come on this side, clean up some of that extra glue over there as well. Okay. And I'm just going to simply hold this right here for 5 minutes. So hold on to it. If I apply too much pressure, I'm going to take it and it's going to bend the rocket tube. We don't want that. And again, where this comes down to, you can see this. We're using that edge right there. That's how far we come down. So again, we're just going to hold this for 5 minutes. So now that that has dried for 5 minutes, I can move on to my next one. Again, long line, leave it alone. Okay, so again, I add my little bead of glue here. Let that set for 1 minute, and then add another bead of glue to your other fin and set it and let it hold for 5 minutes until you have all 3 of your fins done. And that's it.